Hey team, Chef Eric Gephart here at Kamado Joe. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be using one of my favorite cuts from one of my favorite farms. We have St. Louis style ribs from Cheshire pork, and I want to introduce you to the Italian rib. Here we go. While our Big Joe 2 is stabilizing at 325 degrees, we're going to remove the membrane from this rack of ribs. And you want to do that so that you can ensure that smoke and seasoning are getting through, but also, you know, whoever's going to be eating this in the end, it's a much better experience without that membrane. So you just kind of sneak a knife directly underneath, work it side to side. Some people start at the edge, but I prefer to go right here and then get in there with your finger and just lift up ever so gently, create enough of a pocket to be able to pull the rest of the membrane off. And this is actually elastin, and it does not break down. It's a connective tissue that you just don't want in your mouth chewing on. You can see how tough this is, not very advantageous for anything at all. So we get rid of that whenever possible. I do the same for beef ribs. A little bit of the skirt steak there. We can even clean up some of this globular fat. Not too much, just anything that's gonna burn up on us, you know? And that's really all the knife work I'll do. Maybe trim off some of these little itty bitty pieces over here. And now we're go for seasoning. Some folks might attack that. If you were going to, you just slide your knife underneath and then go back the other direction. And by getting rid of any of that silver skin, again, you're just allowing more seasoning and smoke to penetrate the meat. So I said these were Italian ribs. First thing we're gonna do is put a little balsamic on the rib. And when we think about ribs, vinegar and ribs go together. I'm just not sure how many of us have used balsamic. It's a fun little technique. Now that we've got the wet surface, we're gonna go on with some of our dry ingredients. We'll go for salt. Ribs are simple. I want you to think about how you can have fun with it and explore different regions and cuisines in the world. So we're gonna go on with some Italian seasoning now. And same thing with the other side. Salt and Italian seasoning. So the combination of these three things, the balsamic, the salt, and the Italian seasoning in the first hour and a half of smoke are gonna create this unique flavor experience. The sugars from the balsamic, the osmosis created in the wicking out, and the penetration due to the salt with the Italian seasonings. A lot of fun things are happening. One other thing I want to do for this is I want to take my knife and I want to find each bone, and I just want to trace in the center of the bone to cut through. It's easy with the seasoning to kind of be able to draw your line. You know what I mean? Is we're gonna cook this to the point where this really becomes exaggerated. We can see it and we just lift those bones right out in the end. It's a very unique presentation. All right, so we've traced all our bones, we've peeled off the membrane, we've seasoned it up, we've stabilized our grill at 325 degrees. Let's take a look at grill setup today. Let's go ahead and sneak some of our wood chunks in there. Come on in and take a look. I've got a decent charcoal pile here. I'd say the grill is halfway full. And we're gonna use this ash tool to kind of wake everything up. And we're gonna plug our smoking chunks right here. Notice they're starting to see some airflow. I just opened up that draft door a little bit. And we're gonna plug our wood chunks in the hottest portion of the coal bed. We're gonna wait just a minute until we see combustion on there. Once we have combustion, let's put in the other half moon deflector shield, and that just rests right on top of that divide and conquer system. We'll spin our other grill grate around. Notice the grill grates are at the highest portion of the divide and conquer system. We've got good smoke coming through. I can't really see it, it's translucent. Now we're gonna put our ribs, and I like to start presentation side down first. I wanna just implore you, don't get stuck doing the same old ribs every single time. Don't get stuck falling into that 3-2-1 trap. If you're spending 6 hours on a rack of ribs or even 20 racks of ribs, you're taking way too much time. It doesn't need that much. Even at 325, these ribs are going to be done in 3 hours. And we're exploring a technique that's different than anything most folks have done, right? We're going Italian with these ribs, meaning we're bringing in some marinara, we're bringing some Parmesan cheese. We're getting funky with it, okay? I don't know how much longer I've got on this earth, but I'm getting real weird with it, all right? At the 45-minute mark, so half of that hour and a half, we're gonna flip them, okay? Then we wrap, but I'm getting ahead of myself. See you in a second. All right, we're at that hour and a half mark, and I'll be honest with you, I just peeked. It looks great. We're gonna look at it together here in just a second. I like the caramelization. The balsamic definitely gave it more color than it would normally have at that time and temp.
I don't think the wind's gonna cooperate.
The wind's fine. You just gotta know how to throw an elbow down and, you know, kind of relax and hang out. I'll tell you what we'll do. There we go.
Easy.
All right, come on in. Let's take a look. Oh yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh yeah. All this rendering. Look at the backside. Oh, backside here. Woo! That's hot. The aroma's through the roof, as we would expect. And because we traced it, look how these bones are already starting to come out, which is great because their end result is pulling those things out. And now we're gonna wrap it. And the wrapping process is great. That's what kind of keeps all the moisture content in there. It speeds up the stall, so we're gonna get through it a little quicker. We're gonna have more tender, juicy ribs by wrapping for the last hour here. So we've done an hour and a half. Now we're doing 1 more hour. We want an internal temperature of about 206, but more importantly, we want it to be probe tender. Okay, so 1 hour. That means we're gonna do 30 minutes bone side down, and then 30 minutes meat side down, if you will. But again, we're going to continue to check our internal temperature and check for probe tenderness because it might happen sooner. You gotta keep checking it out. Let's take a look. Let's bring it over to the board and take a look. Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh wow.
Look at that. Now we want to flip it over so we can pull those bones out. So just a little support. And look at that. Those little funny cuts we did in the very beginning have done 90% of the work. As it rendered and the collagen turned to gelatin and there was some pull away, watch how this bone just wants to come out.
Oh wow. Look at that.
Yeah. And so we're just pulling these out. This is awesome. And again, that internal temperature was about 206, 207, but probe tender was the main thing. All right, now that we have all the bones out, now we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 bone sections. Oh, that's so cool. And you're gonna stay right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Look how succulent. I think that's the right word. 2, 3, 4. So we've got even pieces. And now I'm gonna top with a little bit of marinara sauce.
What?
I told you we were gonna get weird with it today. This is great. Let's grab a little basil here and do a quick chiffonade or just run a knife through it.
Getting really weird here.
I told you, man, I told you. And this is the part that's gonna freak everybody out, but it's lovely. Now we go in with some Parmesan / Asiago, Reggiano. Oh yeah, that just happened.
Can't wait to read the comment section of this video.
You can use mozzarella if you wanted to, you know, whatever doesn't offend your soul. Okay, very carefully. We're gonna kind of make this into a platter and take it on back over to the grill one more time to warm up that marinara and melt the cheese. So
This is insane.
yeah, so let's go ahead and open the dome here. Still got smoke coming out, how about that? And I'm gonna put my spatula underneath. Easy peasy. Good, and I got a nice little foil boat there. Let's go a little more cheese. You know, what are we really doing here? We got one shot at this. Yeah, dome down. And for melting of the cheese, I'm gonna go ahead and swivel open the control tower. I'll open up that draft door, and that's gonna drive a little bit more temperature. And our cheese is gonna get melty. The ribs are at that really tender state right now. All we gotta do is wait another 5 minutes and we're into it. Let's see it. I tell you this.
Oh, come on.
That's pretty awesome. You know. Transfer to the cutting board. Uh-huh. I told you. I told you. It wants to fall apart. And
It's beautiful.
I just don't have enough great things to say about this. I hope this takes off. I hope this takes off. What have we done? What have you done? What have you allowed to happen here? No, this is a beautiful thing. You know, and the Cheshire pork ribs are just so fun. Let's just see what happens. I think you cut it into a rib, and then
Wow.
try it just like that. Oh, is that crazy? That's awesome. It's awesome. I know what you're thinking. Because I'm thinking the same thing. This is silly, but it is darn right delicious and fun. And I've said it on the channel before, whoever's not playing with your food, I mean, or whoever told you not to play with your food is missing the boat. And this is exactly that. Just so much fun. Man, it's like boneless rib pizza.
Is the cheese weird?
The cheese is like excellent, you know, and I think I'm glad that we went with a semi firm cheese versus a semi soft cheese, like a mozzarella. This really stands up to it. You know, when you get those firmer cheeses, they're a little saltier. That plays really well against the smoke and against the sweetness of the balsamic. It balances it, okay? And it's still got a little mouthfeel as you're chewing. This is excellent. This is excellent. Give it a go. What do you got to lose? Come on, give it a go. You're gonna love it. I can't wait to see the comment section of this. Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of stunt food. This is a good time, and it is great food. And thanks for Cheshire Pork for sending these great ribs as always. So, team, if you enjoyed this cook, do us a favor: like, share, comment. We do love reading and responding to the comments. I'm gonna scarf one of these whole things down. Yeah. I'm not making it into a McRib though. I'm not doing it. Okay, we went this far. But thanks for hanging out with us. And as always, from our backyard to yours, cheers and happy grilling.